Okay, well, Adam, tell me about how you grew up.
Oh, how I grew up? No, I don't like that question. Yeah? I'm saying I really
Like, were you
did a
always from?
podcast on that.
Were you always like...
No, so that's why I said I think we have a lot in common, that I had those traditions intact. Like my parents, literally, Jewish education was everything. Celebrating the traditions. We built a sukkah. Like how many people build sukkahs today that aren't necessarily from Orthodox? It's very rare, but I slept in the sukkah. I watched TV in the sukkah. We hung out in the sukkah. It's not all about sukkahs, but that actually, now I'm realizing, is a huge part of my identity to Judaism, because I love sukkahs is my favorite holiday. But so my parents did give a good feeling towards Judaism and Yiddishkeit, and that was very important to them. Were they all the way from? I mean, no, but there was movements that my father had taken in his life, and that took me along my own movements of like carrying that torch as I described. And then a lot of family has followed me. Like my father today, he's remarried because my mother passed, but he's keeping Shabbos kosher. Like he davens every day. Like it's a beautiful progression. And his father, at the end of his life, was starting to put on tefillin and get back into things, even though he lost everyone in the Holocaust. And it was through Chabad. And so that was like the seeds planted at a very young age. And so tradition was very important, and then took me into intense moments. You know, things happen when you really wake up and you're really shooken or shaked. And then it's like a do or die almost. Like I'm hit my core of who I am. Like people were dying, or they were people getting sick, and I hit my core. What really matters, who's really able to take care of me and be there for me in these real deep broken situations. Like they say, min ha-meitzar karasika, like from the meitzar, the squeeze. Yeah. It's like when we're in those really squeezed moments, that's when we call it to God, right? The meitzar was Mitzrayim, the original.
Galus.
Today it's October 7th. Today you can feel it in Galus in every moment, that the truth is in exile. That whatever people are posting today, they can will say, this is the truth, and they'll literally reverse the story. And so we're ambassadors of the truth. That's what we're doing over here. And I've always felt that. I've always felt that consistent message throughout my whole life, is that I hold a certain light that is the truth. I feel very connected to it, and I need to spread that to the world.
Well, what's a moment where you felt, the first time you felt, I'm doing this now, like I'm making an impact on the world?
Like when in this type of stuff, my first big awakening where I felt like life could be different, because what really stunted me in life was losing people that I love. That was very hard for me to overcome. Like I don't see another side of this. And what gets trapped when we get into a really intense moment in life is the emotional experience. The emotional experience gets trapped, because I don't want to feel that. If I don't feel that thing that I don't want to feel, then I can disassociate and live in an alternative reality. Like, you know, some people say, like, if someone's dying, I know this is getting pretty intense over here, but whatever, I'm just going to go.
It's almost Shabbos. We'll be fired up soon.
Yeah. So if someone's really sick or they're dying, I don't want to face the pain of never having to be able to be in a physical relationship with them, to touch them, to hug them. So I have to not feel that, because it would just crush me. It would kill me. I feel like I would die instantly if I had to really feel the impact that would have on my existence. Right? I'm very much limited to this existence. But if I could feel through that, if I could go back into the feeling and know that I can, what I'm doing when I'm feeling a feeling, them going through something, is I'm saying I'm much more than that. I can go through this. There is much more to me than just in the relationship, than the physical existence of this person, which I was forced to do when my mother passed away. That was really when that was like 5 years ago, that really, really made me realize that there was more to the relationship, because I have to believe that there's more to a relationship than the physical body, which is what we're told in Judaism, is that there's a whole spiritual element, there's the neshama, there's the soul. A lot of people they know that as a concept, where they would say, yeah, the soul exists and there's a dimension above this, but they don't feel that in their life because they're stuck in the Meitzar. So in the Meitzar is where we can re-access what was broken. And it's by feeling through it. So I'm not even remembering what your question was.
I asked you, what moment made you realize that you were having an impact?
So I went on my first workshop years ago, which eventually that whole program was labeled as a cult and thrown into Chayrim, like ostracized. And,
oh, damn.
And
really in the Meitzar.
It's like for good reasons, that whatever needed to happen. But it woke something up inside of me that said, there's another way. And it all happened because I opened up to certain feelings that I didn't want to open up to for a lot of my life. It stuffed them and stored them inside, which is what we do. And trauma happens in isolation. I know we're just getting into this topic, but trauma happens in isolation. So as a result of trauma happening in isolation, a lot of my healing started the path of healing to be able to believe in myself again and go out and change the world was done in a community type setting or a group type setting, because what the group energy holds and it's catering towards is what our three most fundamental needs are, which is love, belonging, and
Damn, you remember this from your university days?
I think I left my university.
This is like some psychology stuff.
No. Love, belonging, and safety.
Huh.
What we need in order to thrive. This workshop happened 11 years ago for me. It was ready when I was married. It was ready when I had a bunch of kids, and I felt stuck, and I was emotionally blocked or like not really enjoying my life. But what we need as people is love, belonging, and safety. If we have love, belonging, and safety, we can work through the traumas, because trauma says it has to happen in isolation. I had to shut off, and I have to live with this in myself, by myself. No one can help me. Yeah. It's too much for me. So when we come back into relationship, when we're coming back into a space of relationship with other people, it helps us come out of that stuckness in life. That was what was created for me. That really was my biggest breakthrough moment till this day in my life, and continues to be. And there's short breakthroughs along the way, or small breakthroughs along the way. But that was by far for me that I can identify as the most impactful moment of my life. And it literally shifted everything. Today I'm doing this full time because of that, creating the space that was created for me that I know to be so healing.
And you've probably helped lots of people.
We've helped approximately 1,600 people, whether it be workshops that I was previously a part of, or this new thing that we've built, which is called Anochi, which Anochi is the idea of who am I? Like, who am I really? So I'm helping people get to, me and Nachman are helping people get to a place where they can recognize the greatness of who they are, the power of who they are. And a lot of what you're doing with Geshmak Hearing is just spreading a positive, good, upbeat message that people can feel alive again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many of us have felt dead because of what happened in the world, or what happened to me as a result of what happened in the world. Because trauma is not what happens to you, is what happens inside of you as a result of what happens to you. And trauma happens in isolation, where I say, I no longer want to feel this. I don't want to be a part of this. So I have to go into an alternative reality in my mind and believe something about what I think life is. But really, there's so much deeper stuff going on. And I have to be able to re-access that, because that's where my existence was locked. Right? The Meitzar is where our existence was locked.
When I was at university, I wasn't really too familiar with Chabad and Hasidus. I kind of just learned more as I just got older. And what exactly is Hasidus?
Hasidus, wow.
Yeah.
You know what they call Hasidus? They say it's Radla.
Radla?
Say it's Rashis de lo Yisiada. It's like the beginning of the unknown.
Damn.
It's charting unknown waters.
Really?
And they say that in its source, God's wisdom, like what's the greatest level of wisdom that you can attain, is it says, the ultimate goal of wisdom is to not know, is to know how much we don't know, meeting God in infinite space. Because if you think that you can know God, you haven't really met God.
Yeah, because you can't know.
So Hasidus it's a portal into seeing God's bigness, so to speak, like however you would describe that. But it's by realizing how much you don't know. Like, when you're on a mountain or you're climbing a mountain, you feel like the sprinkle of the rain on one side, but on the other side there must be like that huge storm. So the little sprinkle that we get allows us to recognize the storm on the other side, but we never get to really experience that, because experiencing that is infinite. And if you can experience it or you can grasp it, it's no longer infinite.
So it's just I thought it was just living with the realization that Hashem is everything.
Well, when you learn Hasidus, you're definitely able to see the world through God's eyes. So it's different vision. But
what type of Hasidus do you learn?
Chabad Hasidus.
So you read the Tanya a lot?
So the Tanya was the first sefer I ever bought. It was interesting. In Jerusalem, I was at the Kotel, and some guy put on film with me, and I was at a point in my life where I was searching the whole story, but he put on film, and I said, what book should I buy? So I bought the Tanya, and I only opened it up 2 years later.
Was it just like Hebrew or English? That's it?
It was the lessons in Tanya. It was done very well.
Yeah, I know that one.
But I only fully dove into it 2 years later. I had the book. I almost traded it, actually. My roommate wanted to trade me a Tanya for the Chumash, just a regular Chumash, and I was almost about to do it. And little did I know that this would become the ammo that I used to live my whole life today.
I remember when I was in yeshiva, we had I was saying like how all the rabbis were super diverse. We had this one night Seder rabbi who was a Nazir who became frum by traveling all over the world. And I remember he told this one story where he went to Nepal for like a year, no food and just a Tanya and a Chumash. So that just like made me, I don't know, just left an impact about how cool the Tanya was. But I only started reading it this year because at Chabad, we started like a weekly Tanya study class with Rabbi Yossi Swed Shlita. Yeah, we just meet in my apartment and learn Tanya with the boys. And it's crazy, like life-changing stuff. It's awesome to read.
Yeah, it's like the spiritual psychology of the soul.
And it's like practical. It's really practical too.
Very practical, because it has to be. The whole idea of Chabad is that I'm supposed to be able to understand God, so to speak, in the limited version of who I am.